Kyle Larson crashes at the Indy 500 test, plus Rodney Childers, Sweeney, they've actually got something in common. Welcome back to Break Hard. I'm Matt. Now that the dust has settled around the Rodney Childers Spire Motorsports breakup, we can talk about the Indy 500 test. There was a test on Wednesday and on Thursday, and Kyle Larson participated in both days, but his Thursday was cut kind of short. So on Thursday morning, IndyCar upped the boost, up to qualifying boost, and sent drivers out for mock qualifying runs on Thursday morning, and Larson sails it off into turn one and promptly pancakes the wall, slides to a stop down in turn two, gets out of the car under his own power, and he's fine, but basically had a ton of understeer when he turned into the corner and bounced it off the wall. Not great for him. He said as soon as he turned in, he knew, and he said the only way to really have aborted it was to either abort it at the green flag or he was just along for the ride, and he was along for the ride there. Unfortunate for he and that 17 Arrow McLaren team, because that was the end of the day for them. They weren't going to be able to repair the car in time to get it back out, but the good news is there was no tub damage to the car, so that's a positive there. Net positive if you want to go with a corporate term. But for Larson, unfortunate. He got out afterwards and, got out of the media, or not the media center, but rather the infield care center, and said that he was happy to have wrecked an Indy car and he was glad that he lived through it. So very Kyle Larson in terms of that statement. One, he didn't wreck any cars last year at the Indianapolis 500 in any of the tests. Phoenix, when he tested there, he didn't wreck anything, and he didn't wreck anything through the month of May. Now he comes back here and he finally wrecks one, gets it out of his system. I mean, even Fernando Alonso wrecked an Indy car at the Indianapolis 500. So it's just one of those things. You got to get through it. And to say that he lived through it as well, I mean, the guy flips 410 sprint cars and midgets, not on the regular, but he's definitely done it and has some big time wrecks before. So I just found that kind of humorous, and some people took it probably more seriously than they should have. Takuma Sato, two-time winner of the Indianapolis 500, also had issues basically 15 minutes after Kyle Larson had his incident. Takuma sails it off into turn one. The car snaps sideways on him there. And to Takuma's credit, he tried to drive out of it. He tried to steer out of it. That's just not going to happen, going 237 mile per hour, 235 mile per hour at that point. He smacks the wall. He said that his data recorder said it was 90 Gs. It was a big time impact for him. He was fine, got out of the car. Unfortunate for he and that entire Ray Hall, Letterman, Lanigan team as well. But we'll see him back, just like we'll see Kyle Larson back in a few weeks when practice opens for the Indianapolis 500. Very excited to get back there. For that, and for Larson, he's going to get a ton of reps through that week as well. So if you're a Larson fan and you're concerned about it, I wouldn't be that concerned about this. He's going to be perfectly fine, especially because on Wednesday during the final practice, the afternoon practice, I guess it was all afternoon practices, but the final afternoon practice, Larson was 11th on the speed charts, and those cars were all basically in race trim at that point. So he's got speed in that car. He's got drivability in that race car. I would not be too concerned right now. They've got a really good baseline for when they get back there in May. So that's definitely a good thing. Takuma Sato did top the charts on Thursday, though, before his incident for the fastest no-toe speed at 232.565 mile per hour. Kyle Kirkwood followed up behind him with Scott McLaughlin behind him, and then Louis Foster, P4. And if you're looking for some early favorites to maybe try to figure out who you want to pick for the Indy 500 this year, Alex Palou has looked very good in practice so far. Joseph Newgarden, Will Power, Scott McLaughlin have also looked very good as well. Scott Dixon appeared to have speed. The Meyer Shank Racing cars, Felix Rosenquist, Elio Castroneves, Marcus Armstrong have all looked pretty good. So there's some guys out there. When practice opens up in a few weeks, it's going to be interesting to see who kind of asserts themselves at the top as we head into the Indianapolis 500. I never thought I would compare Rodney Childers and Sweeney, but here we are, because the two of them actually have something very much in common. There's a ton of dudes that want them right now. Sweeney calls off her engagement, and her replies on Instagram are just filled with the thirstiest of men. They're starving for any type of attention that she'll give them. Rodney Childers, he and Spire Motorsports break up. He's a free agent now, and he also has tons of dudes begging for him to come over and crew chief for their favorite driver. We'll get into it real quick, because where's he going to go? It seems very much up in the air right now. But if you listen to basically every fan base that thinks that they need a crew chief, he's going to come to them. We're going to start off with the Chase Elliott fans. The Chase Sexuals, they are very much clamoring to get Rodney Childers atop the number 9 pit box. They're ready to go to Alan Gustafson's house, pack his things up, ship him off to Palm Springs to a retirement home just so they can get Rodney Childers. Keep in mind, Chase Elliott is wildly consistent, and Alan Gustafson is an incredibly smart crew chief, but they want to replace him. So fine. All right. You think you can get Rodney Childers? You can. I'm just not sure that that's probably the right fit for him. Then you have all the Brad Keselowski fans who are like, we are tired of Jeremy Bullins. Hey, you want to go take a boat ride like it's the Sopranos? Then we can get Rodney Childers on top of this pit box. Yeah, Brad could probably benefit a lot from having Rodney Childers. They have a very similar background in terms of being short track guys. Brad's obviously a veteran. I think Rodney probably works really well with veterans, especially coming from Kevin Harvick. And then you had a guy like Josh Berry, who, while is in his infancy of his Cup Series career, is a much more mature driver than majority of like rookie drivers and everything like that. So it kind of probably felt like working with a veteran in a sense there. Then you got the Kyle Busch fans. They're willing to just sacrifice everything at Cheddar's to get Rodney Childers. They're like, hey, Rodney, you want like a dozen Cheddar's franchises? We can probably hook you up with that. You want a Lenovo laptop? We got that. You want some ozone Zen pouches or whatever, nicotine pouches, whatever they are? Yeah, no problem. We can give them to you by the pallet load. Bourbon? Hey, we got that too. Basically, any vice you got, Rodney, the 8 crew over there can probably hook you up with something to take care of it. But is Kyle Busch going to be at RCR next year? We'll see what happens there. But I'm not sure Rodney Childers and RCR is the fit that everybody would want it to be there. And Randall Burnett is actually a really good crew chief. It's not his fault that RCR is limited on their abilities at times. Then you got the Ross Chastain fans out here, and they're absolutely dying to have Justin Marks open up that checkbook, write a blank check, give him something. They're like a spoiled girl in their sweet 16. Daddy, I want a Range Rover. Daddy, I want Rodney Childers to come be my crew chief. Yeah, so does everybody else. But you got to write a check for that. And then you got to hope that it performs well. Hope that nobody breaks it. I'm just not sure that that's going to work over here. I do think Rodney Childers and Ross Chastain would actually get along pretty well. I actually do think that those two sides would gel. I just don't know if Trackhouse wants to shake things up quite like that. Then you have Legacy Motor Club fans, which there are in fact fans of Legacy Motor Club. I in fact own a Legacy Motor Club t-shirt, best branding in the sport right now. And they're like, hey, we hire anybody. We'll just create a title for you, Rodney Childers. You don't even have to be crew chief if you don't want to. We'll just give you a title, bring you on board, and write a paycheck to you, because that's seemingly what Legacy does at times. And hey, Legacy, if you want a guy that is just going to sit in front of a microphone and talk about, your race team every single weekend, I might know a guy that could help you out there. But every fan base, every driver fan base that thinks that their driver needs a new crew chief is absolutely begging for Rodney Childers right now. You have Alex Bowman fans being like, hey, Blake Harris, get out of here. We're going to bring Rodney Childers in and do this. I don't know if he'll end up at Hendrick Motorsports. Obviously, Spire and Hendrick have a very tight relationship. You would think that if he was going to hang around that camp, that he would have just made the transition over there. Again, making a crew chief change this early in the season is different. It's not unheard of, but it's not the norm whatsoever. But for Rodney, he's going to get to sit back and decide what he wants to do. I saw on Thursday morning, he was power washing his patio. So yeah, I don't think he's too bothered about where his next opportunity is going to come, because he's going to have plenty of suitors, just like Sydney Sweeney does as well. So let me know in the comments what you thought about Kyle Larson's wreck, Takuma Sato's wreck, and Rodney Childers. Where do you guys think he's going to end up at? Like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on TikTok @BreakHard, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook @BreakHardBlog.